That sounds like you. If you have a belief in a god or gods or a higher power or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning that belief, then go ahead and request honor. I'm not here for a debate or an argument. I'm not interested in proving you wrong. I just want to know, if you do believe, well then, why do you believe? Well, maybe a little bit of what, but also, can you even really question it? April says demons aren't fun. It sounds like you just didn't know the right demons, April. What is a demon, after all? Do you really believe they exist? It looks like, wow, we hit 2.4 thousand really quick, so thank you all for tapping the screen, getting us there. I really appreciate you. Thank you, guys. I think we're about ready to take a guess. Let's see if we've got a proper question for them. Something like this. And maybe one of these requests is a believer who can question their beliefs. And more than likely, some of them are ghosts who requested up and scrolled away when they weren't instantly brought on panel. That happens. Mischief? What mischief? Oh, skeletons are sus. Yeah, well. I'm not sure if that's mischievous so much as, well, I mean, generalizing. Are there skeletons who aren't mischievous? Well, someone's got to do it, Cat. I mean, eventually, someone's gonna call me a demon. That happens every night. Or the devil, or Satan, or something like that, generally. I wonder if it's more a reflection of their own insecurities than it is anything really to do with me. Right. Just get that out of the way now. Now nobody will call me a devil or a demon or Satan or Lucifer. What kind of name is that, anyways? Lucifer. Trust me, they don't know evil yet, says Skeek. Well, I don't know if they know evil or not. Apparently you have to die and come back again. Thank you, April. I'm sure that's very helpful. Yeah, Azure, they definitely call me bruh. I'd rather be called Satan or the devil if that's really where we're going. If that's my option. I did sleep at least some, whether or not it was well. It was some. Bruh. Do you even question, bruh? Let's see if we've got, something like that. It's missing the bruh, yeah. Oh, under review. I'm gonna show them my board. Yes, Ajir, I do remember that. It's surprisingly that time you're referring to probably wasn't the first time. I've definitely been called that more than once, which is just wild to me. Oh, it's gonna hide it. Don't hide my board. There we go. Do you even question? It needs the bruh. Let's see. Do we still have a request? Oh, yep. There's that one. Looks like there's one more in there. If you're patient, I might be able to get to you soon, but I do take one new guest at a time. Hello, Zach. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
I'm 29, bro.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that, bro?
A higher power, bro. A straight up higher power, but not one that is easy to question because it's not framed to any sort of religion.
So when you say higher power, what does that mean to you?
Maybe that we were created, or that maybe this life was, some things line up too easily.
You're saying
it's a very rough draft kind of look on life.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a new belief you're still feeling out.
Yeah, forming it out, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you feel it. Do you think that we were created, or is it just it's possible? So if it's possible, then possibly something did it. Or is there more to it than that? Does it feel like we definitely were created by something?
I believe I believe in God. I have since a young child. I don't really subscribe to any of the religions, but like God itself, yeah, I believe in that we are created.
When you say God itself, is that just referring to a thing that created, or is there more to it?
I kind of look at God as like the aspect of creation itself, like the very different definition of creation almost.
What does creation mean?
To make something out of something else, I would think.
To make something out of something else. So you feel like a god made all of this out of something else?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe. Or nothing. I mean, I feel like nothing and something are pretty closely related.
Perhaps in vagueness, but what do you mean by nothing?
I mean, the difference between 0 and 1 and the infinite possibility between those two. But depends on how you're measuring the numbers, you know, if you're talking about decimals or like, you know, like there's so many options. Just there's so many options of what could be possible and what we don't know. Like,
So, because there's possibilities between 0 and 1, then something seems more likely that there was a creator. I'm a little lost. How do you get to a creator?
I mean, the fact that we're having this, I mean, like, obviously you were created and I was created, but like
Formed out of something else, right? That's
formed
what you
out of
meant.
something else.
So,
But it all
you mean
has to go
like,
back to somewhere, right?
what do you mean somewhere?
Like, I mean, okay, this might take a minute, but, or it might not, I'm not sure. But if you think about it, we came from our parents. That's the simplest answer. But they came from somewhere.
Sure.
Sure.
So they came from somewhere. They came from their parents, right?
Yeah, so if you take it all the way back down the line, like,
All the way to where?
I don't know, a bunch of conclusions.
Well, how far can you go back?
I can go back out to the state of Utah as far as that goes. I mean, if you want to think about, sorry, my last name's Young, so I just assume I come from Brigham, but
He did get around.
he got around, bro. He did a bunch.
So,
But I mean, like in a wider aspect, like
right. He came from somewhere. His parents came from somewhere. You can go back till it wasn't
it's like a
human.
question without an actual answer, you know, because there's you can't even really date it that far back, and
So, to clarify quickly before I ask in a different direction, do you believe evolution is responsible for the diversity of life on Earth? Or
I'm
do you
not
think
sure.
a God did it?
I'm not sure. I mean, like I feel like there kind of have been proven signs of
Proven sign.
but like that's just people explaining it, so it doesn't exactly work, you know.
You saying proven signs of evolution or
Kind
of
of
God?
like, I mean, you we have different bone structures from primates that we can prove existed X amount of years ago through like let's say what's it called, like is it radiological dating? It's I don't think I got the
Probably
word right, but
radiometric.
radiometric dating. But like that's based off of, you know, plant life or animal life that's in the material, and who knows if that got put there later. Like it's hard to tell, you know. Science, it seems to only answer by giving you another question. So
Fascinating. Um, so you're saying that there's different bone structures. Are you trying to say that there's evidence against evolution? Or it seems to be the case, at least, that it's unlikely? Or is that it is more likely, but it raises more questions?
I guess I'm saying that my outlook on life is completely unformed, man. Like I don't know. Everything could be possible.
Everything could be possible. It's interesting. You say everything could be possible, yet you do lean towards belief in a God, just
Oh yeah, for
not the
sure.
Abrahamic God.
Not
Nothing
any one of
biblical.
the not any one of the major like four or five. None of them. I
4
think
or
they're all the
5.
same one, dude.
That's a different story too. So, which ones are the same one?
Like all of them.
All gods everywhere. So Zeus and Apollo in the same pantheon. They're both the same god. Or is Is Thor the
I mean,
same
Zeus and
as?
Apollo, that's a good one to bring up because don't their religions like mimic each other? Like Zeus, that's Greek, and Apollo, that's
Greek?
Roman, right?
No, I
Did I get them switched?
it chose two Greek gods on purpose.
Oh, you're messing with me. But
Hmm.
the Romans kind of copied the Greek gods, like I'm sure we've done the same thing multiple different civilizations over. We've probably taken things that we like from some and some that we didn't like from other ones. It doesn't mean that they're God. Like my God, the way I see it is the act of creation. No, but like the
Right.
universe seems to keep expanding, at least through the ways that we can use our instruments and test. But the
Hmm.
more we test, the less things we know about it. So it seems odd.
Are you sure it's the less things we know about it, or we realize there's more we didn't know?
Exactly that. Exactly that. There's more things we know, but it seems like it might give you one answer and like two questions back.
Hmm. Um, do you think it's possible that things were not created by an outside mind, but that they simply formed over a long period of time? Trial and error. Not even so much trial and error, more of a things didn't work didn't stay, and things that did kept going.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree with you. Like
So what would a creator be necessary for?
okay, so you're more arguing on the idea that there's no God
Oh,
at
I'm not
all, that it's
arguing.
all just
I'm
atoms
not.
in the universe.
Yeah, I'm definitely not arguing. I'm hearing what you're
No,
saying,
no arguments
and
here.
I'm presenting a question to see how it fits with what you already believe. Is that something that doesn't fit, or does it fit? And there's no wrong answer. It's just what you actually believe is the right answer.
Yeah, I think like both can be true at the same time. Like something need to happen to make this work, whether that came up at a certain point to where I don't know, like could you have like trial of the fittest type stuff, or like what exists because it's the most dominant. I mean, that thing could still have been created, even if it was the weaker thing, it still could have been created from a different source. So I guess it kind of works, but not really, though, huh?
Created.
That one kind
You
of falls
still
on
need
its face.
you still need something to create in your mind.
That's the thing, is like, I'm not, I think it's Voltaire, but like, I don't know. I'm not very good at quotes, but it's like what I think, therefore I am. But like, they're
Definitely
like,
not Voltaire, but that's okay. Descartes.
yeah, I was pretty sure I got that one wrong, but
At least they were French.
do you know the quote? How bad did I get it wrong?
I think, therefore I am. It's Descartes.
I think it's Descartes. Okay,
Descartes. Like
Descartes.
like like Descartes. But yeah, Descartes.
I like that quote because like we don't even understand dreams, but like we want to comprehend the universe. Like there's a lot of leeway in between like understanding like religious beliefs. Like it makes it really hard for me to tie one to myself.
Do
But
you
as
have?
far as I
Oh, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead, sorry.
No, it's all right. You were gonna summarize something, and it probably was helpful.
But as far as like a God goes for me, like I don't even think we'd have the words to understand what a God is. Like we wouldn't have the meanings and definitions, and how would you even figure it out? Like, I mean, they kind of quoted it in like certain early aspects of the Bible, and it's still, as they put it out there, it's almost unintelligible. Like it's a man, they have some quite crazy ones. I don't think I can come up with a good quote for you right now, but they got some wild ones in there.
Right. Could that be because they had no idea and they just wrote down a myth? Like Hercules or Zeus or the creation story according to Norse mythology? Or do you know the
Creation of. Could you
yeah, the
explain a
creation
little
of
bit
the
of that to me? I think I do kind of, but
uh, I'll get some of the details wrong, I'm sure, but Odin slays the giant Ymir and creates the world from his skull.
and it was like timeless before that, wasn't it? It was like Kronos that he slayed, right?
Different myth. That be uh, uh, Greek mythology, and Kronos wasn't slain; he was imprisoned. So that would be a different story then altogether, right? Because in one story, Thor slays the giant to create the world. In another story, the world's already here, but the Titans are locked up underneath it by the gods, by Zeus and his siblings. Um, do you know the story, the creation story, according to Finnish mythology?
No, but I would love to hear it.
Vanamoinen um, comes from, I believe he emerges from a magical egg. I could be wrong about that, but he plays a flute to hatch the cosmic egg. So that a bird can form the world. Um,
That's so fire, dude. I love that.
the different mythologies all seem like very different, though, when you really think about them. Some people may say, oh, well, there's a creation event and a powerful thing. But do they not seem like human ideas, creative stories to kind of explain something that none of them really knew?
Maybe it benefits humans to explain things in a comforting way.
Maybe.
Perhaps. I don't know.
Maybe there is some comfort there, some benefit by providing an explanation for questions that we all have. You you make it easier for people to focus on the here and the now and the tasks they need to do, since they have an answer to the questions that really plague them. It seems like something people might do to help societies progress without getting stuck in the mud of unending questions.
Those unending questions, though, they're fun to ponder over, though.
Well, I do a live about them every night, so yeah.
I like them.
Do you think that there's any reason to believe that a human anywhere in any time had access to knowledge of a god?
Yeah, I think so.
Why?
Personal experience?
Do you have personal experience of a god?
I don't know it was a god, but it felt like one.
What does that mean?
I mean, I don't know. I can't like go out and get my god meter out and see how godly it was, but I can. I had a feeling about it. Like, I felt a certain way while I was experiencing a certain time, but
You felt a certain way while you were experiencing something.
I felt like something almost otherworldly, or something that I don't know, it didn't feel like normal life. It felt like something was talking to me, and it wasn't me, and it wasn't my mind, and there was nobody else around, and like
Felt
I don't know how to describe that. Like ask
felt like
anybody to describe
yeah,
a near death experience, they'll be like, I don't fucking know.
well, I get all kinds of different descriptions of that. Are you saying that you had an NDE? Did you have a moment where your heart actually stopped?
No, it wasn't anything like I wasn't close to being gonzo or nothing, but um maybe maybe I stumbled upon the trail a few little caps and stems, and you know, found myself on like a little river. It was pretty warm, and I just thought about how beautiful it was, and then next thing I know, it felt like something was talking to me, but I didn't really know what. It was crazy. It was a crazy experience, craziest experience I've ever had, for sure. Didn't feel like me, and I can't say that it wasn't induced by, maybe some of that them shrubberies, but felt different though. Never had it since. Never had it before, never had it since. It was wild. But then again, I've always believed in God, so like wouldn't my like brain point me in a certain kind of direction towards that that's what I was looking if that's what I was like looking for? Like wouldn't
Um,
my biology kind of influence whether that could be valid or not?
wow, it's like you took the question right out of my brain. So if you've already believed in God, um, yeah, could any moment that you feel is unexplainable or even just emotionally charged be credited to God?
No.
Why not?
I mean, I guess you can credit everything to God, but it feels like you're taking away from yourself. Like if you had a shitty life and you did
Mm-hmm.
nothing to help yourself,
Mm-hmm. I think what I
and
meant, and I hear what you're saying. I think I agree with you. But what I'm asking is kind of reiterating your question at the end of that story. You said, you believed in God. Wouldn't it make sense your brain would lead you that way? Um, and that's kind of what my question was getting at was, uh, couldn't you just, if you already believe in God, give him credit for things, or blame, or, you know, point to whatever occurrence happens and say God must have been there or done that, instead of, well, really doing what you did, which was recognize that your own brain can lead you different directions based on your own preconceptions.
I mean, you can't take God can't be the answer for everything, bro. If you stub your toe and you blame it on God, like, bro, no, you just stubbed your fucking toe, but
I agree with
like,
you. Why would he be the answer for anything?
because I think whether you believe in him or not, he's still kind of there. Like I said at the beginning of the conversation, like I just believe in creation, and the fact that you have another moment alive and you didn't stub your toe and then fucking trip on something and die for some reason, like, yeah, you're still here.
Right, I'm
Like you're
still
still living
here.
this life, and like explain to me why it's okay for us to live this life that we have no way of explaining why we are here. Like
Right. Do we have to
you can
explain why we have a life in order to utilize it, in order to enjoy it?
well, I mean, like there's just Everything, dude. Everything is so weird. Like the planets are aligned in just such a way that we don't get hit by cosmic radiation. The
Are
fact
you
that the
sure?
moon draws in our,
Hang on,
like everything
you
is
say that
weird.
we don't get hit by cosmic radiation, but
We do, but not as hard as like other planets do.
right? Isn't it actually our atmosphere doing a lot of that work, and our magnetosphere?
Our magnetosphere is, yeah.
So if that's the case, then it's not so much that the planets are perfectly aligned. It's that this planet happens to have necessary conditions for life. Do you think that it is impossible or unlikely that other planets might have similar conditions that we haven't found yet or that we haven't fully studied yet?
I would say it's likely due to the vast amount of universe that we don't even have discovered. Not only that, but like it's not even discovered, but it's more like we don't even have like I don't even think that we have the technology available to see most of what the universe really is,
Mm.
Just based
That's an
on
interesting
star
thought.
systems, people say that like like if we were like a 0.001 type of an occurrence, like there'd still be a lot of us, right? But
Right.
there's that Fermi paradox saying like, where's all the rest of them?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like
There are a lot of answers or what's proposed answers to things like that.
answers to questions depending on how you want to look at it.
Exactly. I like the way you think on that. I think they should raise questions. Do you think that that a god is necessary for things to exist, or is there some other way you can imagine things without a god?
No, I think a god has to exist.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I can appreciate and I don't
I'm not
know.
trying to like not answer your question.
No, I don't know is a fair answer, and it's probably my favorite, though. Yeah, I think it's interesting that you feel that though you didn't say that, you feel that there is a God and that there has to be to explain things, but then not knowing why is an interesting place to put the I don't know. Why do you put it there instead of back at is a God necessary?
Yeah, I'm not sure if
That's fair. I didn't expect a clear answer on that. It was more to get the gears turning.
that's a good point though.
I don't know if there's a God. I don't know that one would be necessary. So putting the I don't know after that seems to raise a lot of questions for me, at least.
But would you put it before or after yourself?
Would I put the I don't know before or after myself? Do I know that I exist? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking.
Do I put the God before myself?
You said I wouldn't know myself
Oh, what I said
if a
is
god does exist or doesn't exist.
what I'm saying is that, yeah, I don't know if a God exists. I was just saying I don't know if one does or not. Would I put a God before myself? Is that what you were asking?
No,
Okay.
no, because like putting a god before yourself, like that's a crazy question. Like, how
Would
the
you?
fuck you even answer that one?
Some people try. Some
Would I
people
put a
try to
god
put.
before myself?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess if I had like submitted myself to a religion, but I feel like there's too many, and I'm not hating on the people that do. Like I have too many unanswered questions myself to be able to say like I think God does exist, but I could never I could never submit to one because I don't know. I feel like all the same gods like my God is creationism. So it's like
Hmm.
we're all here. We was all created by something, but what created the thing that created us? That is an infinite paradox that you can never answer the question to. And that's kind of what my God is like the final thing you'll never know the answer to is like
Hmm. It's the
the
mystery
gift
that
to
will
be able to
remain.
keep asking questions like good enough for me.
Is your God the mystery that will remain when we have all the answers we can glean?
I don't know. Every time we look for more answers, we come up with more questions. So,
Hmm.
I
I
mean, as
think,
people, like we really haven't we figured stuff out. Don't get me wrong. We got technology and stuff, but
yeah,
we're we're no closer to like reaching the ends of the universe. And the closer we look at the end of the universe, the bigger it gets, and the closer we look into atoms,
right.
the more shit we find in there. Like, there's probably God in all of that too.
It seems like you're at a point where you hit a bunch of questions and a bunch of questions, and you see all these questions in front of you. And I hear it almost sounds like admiration for the amount of questions, how we hit a mystery and more questions bloom from that. We solve this mystery, and now all these questions arise from that. And so you were saying a minute ago that that is what your God is. It's that the mystery that stays there, stays hidden.
I have admiration in the fact that I don't think we are capable of figuring it all out.
Mhm. I don't know if we're capable or not, um, but I can hear that admiration in the way that you talk about it. And I guess the the question I am left with is why see that mystery and decide that it is God, or there must be this God, this eternal mystery in everything. Why make that assumption when you don't know if we'll ever know?
Because that's a cool thing, dude. Like, you'll never know the end. Isn't that kind of fucking
Do you
sick?
do you know that you'll never know?
I have a pretty good idea, I guess.
A high
Maybe
degree of
not till he
confidence.
tells me I do, or she tells me, or whatever tells me. Like,
Hmm.
but it's pretty cool that humanity can explore in any direction they want, and they may never find the end. And there's something that's so fucking cool about that. Like,
Hmm.
and maybe we do. I really hope we never do, because I honestly don't believe we will. I That's my belief, is that like science will stretch onwards. Spirituality, like I had one of my craziest experiences, and you couldn't quantify it by sciences.
Hmm.
Maybe you could, like later, but you can't right now. But
I
like
don't know.
just the way I see it is like God seems like a benevolent, benevolent kind of a force, and
You see the same God on all the worlds that may or may not be inhabited.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
So he's
everything that was
he's
made in this
benevolent
universe.
and paying attention to every living thing everywhere all at once.
Well, yeah, it's kind of the definition of a God, is like all powerful, right?
I don't know if that's what you're defining it as. But
That's
Zach,
that's how it has been defined.
by many people it is, but not everybody believes their God is all powerful or that there is an all power. Um, but I think Kat had a question or two, so I'm going to let her jump in.
No, I was trying to clear up the really confusing, almost painful thing that happened a minute ago.
Uh oh.
He was asking you where you put the I don't know. You asked him why he put it after the God. He was asking you if you put it before the God.
You're a little muffled there, Kat.
Dude, oh, fucking Christ almighty. Well,
Now you're clear.
I said he wasn't asking you if you put you before the God. He was asking you where you put the I don't know, because you asked him why he put the I don't know after the God.
I thought that was what he was asking at first, but he clarified on the God. So if I put the I don't know before myself, like, do I
Before
not
the
know
God.
that I exist? Or do I not know the God exists?
I don't think anybody was asking if you exist. Except
See,
for you, apparently, today.
apparently, this is what happens when I wake up late.
That's all I was here for. I think that you're doing a fantastic job questioning. I really like that you understood that the experience you had with the caps and stems was very possibly your own brain. I usually have to explain that to people, and I really, really loved hearing that. Good job.
I wonder, Zach.
Sorry, Zach, that was for you.
Appreciate it.
I wonder, Zach, if you were to find that there's no reason to believe in a God, if you were to find, say, tomorrow some piece of evidence, and I realize there's nothing I can present that would make this happen, it's hypothetical, but if you were to find some piece of evidence that showed that no God existed, that there was no design, no creator, that everything just always was, and this is just the current state of what always has been, would that change the way that you live your life or the way you view the world?
I think you would have to prove to me that we all just live on this planet and that there is nothing else out in space. And then maybe it would suck all the joy from me, but
well,
I think I'd still try to prove you wrong, though, is the thing.
Right,
I'd be like,
yeah.
nah.
So, again, it's not me trying to prove it, but it's also if you had some piece of evidence that there was no God, so still mysteries, still aliens, still things we don't know. But just
Yeah, and I'd be like, what
a
created
creator
them?
of all.
It doesn't have to be a creator of them. It's like,
Why do you?
it's more like what is the complete story of the universe? Like, in the same way that, like, the universe, as far as science is saying, it just ever expands. And we started from nothing, and then all of a sudden it expanded into everything. So I'm like, it seems like a godly presence described by science. If they said that there was like a way that this happened and this is just what happens all the time, I'd be like, hell yeah. I guess that's God for me now. Like,
So started
that'd be
from
my God.
nothing kind of implies that there was nothing and then there was something.
And we started in the beginning of you can
Sure.
only create something out of something else.
Right. So if there's something else, could there not have been something else forever, for an infinite, without beginning? Just existence exists and always has.
Exactly. Dude, that's pretty much my God. Right there, existence. Just the fact that I exist.
Why refer
My
to
shit
it
could
as
be
God?
snuffed out in a minute. And maybe it all goes black, but I don't believe that. I just don't.
Why refer to it as God?
Because it has no ties to any dogma. Like, I don't have to believe in a certain guy. I can just believe in, the fact that existence has been here since, as far as I know, since I was a kid. Like, I've always believed in God. To tie it to something, that's human, it doesn't make sense to me. Like,
I hear
like
that.
I'm gonna tie it to, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on Jesus, but to, like, tie it to a certain kind of guy, or to tie it to anything that resolves in the realm of men, like, I don't think we are, I don't know if we're perfectly made like that, like, we seem to like fighting each other and killing each other a whole lot. I don't know if God is all about that as much. Like, if you run the whole
But if
universe,
he's
you
in
really giving a
everything,
fuck about people killing each other? Like, probably not. I guess I
no,
don't know.
well, that's just it. You say he's benevolent. If he runs the whole
He might not
universe,
be. I think he's more like, I don't think he's benevolent, and I don't think he's like I don't think he's
does
like immoral, or actually I do think he's like immoral. Like
amoral,
immoral, like
like
amoral.
not, yeah,
Amoral.
not immoral, not moral, but amoral. So you're saying that he doesn't have, moral decisions. He doesn't care so much what we do, just that he created us, and now we're here.
I don't know if he has favoritism exactly.
Why would there be a being that creates an existence and then has no part in it? What purpose does that serve him?
Why would... It's not saying that he's not served by it.
How
I'm
is
not
he
saying that
served
he's
by
not
it?
served by the existence. I'm just saying that he doesn't play a part in the roles of our lives.
How
as
is he
much as people
served
like
by
to
it?
believe.
Like, are we the battery in his car, like Rick and Morty?
I love that you brought that up, but no, I don't think it's like that. But I love that you brought that up, though. No, I don't think that we're in like some universe and that's how his battery gets recharged. But fuck, I love that reference though. That's a great A reference, dude. I love that show, or at least that episode. I love that episode for sure. But no, man, like I don't know if like creation has to be tied to morality. Why does it?
I don't think that it does. But I'm curious why the God would create anything and not really play any part in it if he's not moral or immoral, if he's amoral, if he's not making decisions that affect us, then what is it actually doing? Like, what is the purpose of thinking there's this thing there if it's not doing anything?
Well, there's the idea. This is like, I guess, how I justify life when things get a little bit rough or whatever. Like, like if God exists, why wouldn't He create a world that's only full of good? Like, why would God create bad? And like my favorite response is because why wouldn't God create a world that's only good? Because He loves you. Because if the only thing you knew was good, you wouldn't even know what that means. Everything is just a flat neutral, like without highs and lows and tips and balances, and like something bad has to happen to you before you realize that there can be good in the world too. Like,
Are you saying
has to
you
be
can't
both.
know good without knowing bad?
Yes, like something bad has to you've have to have experienced negative energy before you can realize what positive energy is. Like,
Oh, that's going to
you
raise a whole
can't
new
just
rabbit
know
hole of
everything
questions.
positive.
I'll try not to chase down the energy rabbit.
For
You're,
sure, bro.
you're saying you know good and because you know bad, and that so God would create a world where there is all this bad so that we could know good by contrast. But do you have to
I believe that
taste?
it does.
Do you have to taste something absolutely disgusting to know a meal in front of you is delicious? To know you enjoy
Let me
it.
think on that for like 2 seconds.
while he thinks on that, appreciate everybody tapping us up to 10,000K, 10,000 likes. Appreciate all of you. Also, there's like 89 of us in here. The more we tap, the more we can get out to the FYP, maybe get a few more people who are curious enough or courageous enough to question their beliefs. And we have been with Zach for a little while here, so we'll probably be moving on shortly. But if you do have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning, you might be next. Just go ahead and request on up.
Okay, I got an answer to your question.
Okay.
Let's say God gave me chocolate cake every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And the only meal I could ever have every single day was chocolate cake.
Sounds like hell.
So maybe you need something else. Maybe
Right.
one day you need to get kicked in the teeth to realize, you know what, I'm stronger than that and I can build and I can get better. Like, you need the negative with the positive.
You're saying that if
I believe you do.
everything I eat is chocolate cake, I need to get kicked in the teeth from time to time to enjoy the chocolate cake.
Maybe you need like a little.
Is it possible that I could still enjoy chocolate cake if I had it between other delicious meals? If all I
That's
ate
not
were
what I'm
delicious-
asking you. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm
No, but
asking
my
you.
question was the question I asked you. You answered with chocolate cake every day, but my question to you was, do I need to eat something? All
That's
I ate
not
were
what I'm
delicious-
asking.
The question I asked you, question to you was, do I need to eat something disgusting? And you threw in kicking in the teeth. So do I need to get kicked in the teeth and eat something disgusting to enjoy it? I get kicked in the teeth and eat something.
Rephrasing it a little bit. Okay.
That was what I added your kicking in the teeth part.
My bad. That was my bad. But
yeah, do I need
all
all
you ever
of
had
the
with-
negative that I enjoyed the meal?
like, if you've ever struggled for something and it took you a long time to get, and it took failure, and like it took a
sense of
long time to get and a
accomplishment.
lot of negativity before you got the thing.
I'd feel a great sense of accomplishment, but that's because there was adversity in the way. But it doesn't mean that if I was handed a delicious meal, I couldn't also enjoy that.
But with no adversity, that's kind of what I'm getting at, is with no adversity,
So
the
God-
positivity means nothing.
Okay, so God makes infants die of genetic diseases so that we can enjoy our chocolate cake.
That's a crazy way of saying it, but yes, like, I agree with you in the sense that, like, no, not that the infant needed to die of like a genetic disease, but like pain needs to be out there so that you can see that it's not like it's not a just scale. Like, there's positives, there's negatives.
So it's a show. Then I'm seeing the infant go through its turmoil and suffering so that I can see that and think I'm really lucky to enjoy this chocolate cake.
You're bringing it back to the cake now, bro, after bringing up, like, back to the chocolate cake.
It's all metaphors, right? Each one of those could be a metaphor.
Metaphors. But if everything was great all the time, then you wouldn't understand the negative side, and it goes both ways. Like,
What?
there's a dude
Okay.
that
Do I need to experience pain in order to understand pleasure at all?
I think that there's a healthy mix that all of us are going to go through.
A healthy mix that all of us are going to go through. So there's none of us.
Every single one.
So there's none of us that will be born in pain, know nothing but pain and die in pain.
There will. Well,
So then
no,
it's
I don't
not
know.
a
I
healthy
don't know if
mix
there
for
will.
all of us. Back to
I
those
don't know.
infant genetic diseases. You might want to look into some of the the kinds of conditions that can result in infant mortality. And I guarantee you some of those experiences know no pleasure. They're just born to pain and die that way.
To be frank, I didn't get my memories until I was like 4 years old. So, can we verify that they actually have known pain, or is that us
They won't
seeing it through
remember
our eyes as
right.
pain, and
They
we're
won't remember it
experiencing
for
it
two
ourselves?
reasons. They won't remember it for two reasons. One, because, their memories aren't processing the way ours do, but also they're going to die right away. So, right, they won't remember it as an adult when they're more capable of processing it, but they are going to experience it.
There's a lot of questions to be answered, but it's been such an interesting conversation, and
It really
I was
has,
really
Zach.
happy to get up on this live. I
really-
like you.
I appreciate you, Zach. I appreciate you coming up. Your answers have been thoughtful, and I appreciate that you've taken the time to really consider it. You even questioned yourself a few times there, so I really appreciate you demonstrating some patience and critical thinking. I hope you keep asking questions, Zach, whatever answers you get in them as well.
Give me like 2 months, I'll be back up.
We'll see. Take care, Zach.
Hey, have a good one, bro.
You too. W's for Zach. That was a great way to start.
my actual reality, from technology to forever, and I know you would not want to hear all that.
I was asking what it
Literally take me.
what is it in
So, okay, so I'm talking to him. He heard a voice inside his head, correct? And he assumed it was a god. So I have that same voice. I know that that's not a god. My higher self
roboting.
and it.
Okay, good. I thought it was me.
And
Yeah, Big Mama, we're losing your signal. You're cutting out so much that we can't understand what you're saying anymore. Can you get closer to your Wi-Fi, or is it a mobile network? You can get somewhere better.
Can you hear me?
We couldn't hear. Now we can.
Okay.
You were cutting out quite a bit there. So you started to
Sorry.
reference the previous guest. I'd rather we stick to your experience. So what is it that tells you that there is a beginning?
So what do you mean by that?
The one who said that there was a beginning, right? Or that you, or your experience shows that there's a beginning, right?
Yes.
So how did you get to that? How did you come to that understanding? What's consciousness?
I don't call this.
Try to Spligbler. If you ask me, I've never heard of that. What is Spligbler? And I go, oh, well, it's kind of like Smikmok. Did that help you understand what Spligbler is?
No.
So when you're using energy, and then we say, what's energy? You say frequency, and we say, what's frequency? And you say consciousness. Do you see how we're going to keep going down this rabbit hole of trying to get to an understanding of what something is? So like if Thrayle asked me, Hammy, what's frequency? I would tell him it's a repetition of something, such as like, sound has a frequency because it's how many times it does a specific function before it gets to, wherever, right? And that helps him understand what frequency is when I use it. But just if I were to say sound, and it doesn't clarify anything. So what we're trying to understand is, what is it that you mean when you use these specific words?
Okay. So hear me out. So within the field, before human experience, there are specific patterns or tones like love, experience, certain things you want to experience before incarnating as a human. That's what I mean by frequency. And you saying
Oh
like
my.
a pattern, I guess is what you were relating to, I think is what you were kind of on the like brink
Well,
of.
Not a
It's
pattern.
no. So frequency in science has nothing to do with patterns.
Well, it has something, but it's a repeated pattern
Something.
over time.
Yeah.
It's the measurement
all
of the
right,
repetition of something, right? The frequency, how
right,
frequently it occurs. So what is happening frequently? That is the frequency that you're referring to.
So when I was speaking on like crystallization of patterns
Yeah, what does
or
that even
frequency
mean? It sounded like, honestly, it sounded like a whole other language. I wasn't sure what you were saying there. Crystallizations of patterns. What does that mean?
see, this whole thing is like a play on words. That is the whole thing of like language, is it makes it so much harder to explain this because it's more of a felt thing than something that I can
Okay,
like
fair enough.
absolutely put into language.
So you're using a lot of very particular language when you're trying to put it into words. Are you trying to are you trying to describe this through someone else's lens, somebody else's language? Is this you using words from I don't know, just kind of buzzwords from spiritual circles to kind of simplify what you're trying to say?
So I'm not using anyone else's words. These are words that I have come across within my own experience. I didn't look these up online. These
Why?
are words that
Why does the word frequency come up so frequently? What is the way you're using it?
So do you believe that we are derived of energy? Like we are made of energy? Do you believe
What
that
is
whatsoever?
energy? What is energy?
See, and then that brings us back to that circle of awareness, consciousness.
So if you're
It's a
saying we're
loop.
made of awareness or consciousness because that's what you think energy is, and you're going to
So
then apply
from
scientific understandings of energy to make that make sense, but they don't mean consciousness or awareness when science says something about things having energy.
see, that is the echo of what happens from within the field. Like science, what they have
What echo?
within my framework, that is echoes of what is happening within the field, and that's just like
What echo?
a
What are you saying
byproduct.
echoes within the field? What are you saying?
So the choices you make consciously echo into this physical layer. And what science is picking up on is the external echo of what is happening internally through awareness. So they're looking outwards. They're never going to find the actual answer to existence because they're looking at what can be externally proven.
So are you saying that none of this can be externally proven?
No. Sorry. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Because they are looking only at what is observed by the human eye outwards. They will never be able to
Then why
prove
would you
anything
use
about awareness or consciousness.
why would you use like you asked me, do you think you're made up of energy, right? Was that then you just using the spiritual framework of what people mean when they say energy, and you weren't going to go anywhere.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
You weren't going to go anywhere near what science has to say about energy. You weren't going to apply any of their understandings of energy, or were you?
So, what awareness actually is, they're still looking at it as just a byproduct of mass, like matter, right? The body. But it takes a specific one specific person, one scientist to
I was asking
start
about
looking
energy.
internally.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying awareness is energy, energy is awareness.
Yes. Sorry, yes.
So you're just deciding that and saying science will get there one day. They'll figure out that you are right because you know everything. It sounds very arrogant and
Yeah,
condescending towards an entire field of science.
that's okay. That's
That's
I
okay.
understand that.
Do you
I get
realize?
that.
Do you realize that in doing that, you're kind of dismissing life's work of hundreds of thousands of people and an entire framework of understanding the world that has actually benefited society probably in more measurable ways than any other.
But you do realize that all of that is just based on everyone's perspectives, and if it resonates, it resonates. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
So the
Fascinating.
thing is though, when a scientist speaks about energy, it's always been in the capacity of the ability to do. I don't think that there's like it seems very very. Thrayle uses the right word, arrogant, to believe that they're gonna stop one day and be like, "Eureka! Energy is not that; it's actually consciousness."
Turns out Big Mama was right. Give her a Nobel.
Well, actually, I've done research on the internet where
What does
scientists are
research
now
mean?
looking
What
like
does
actual
research mean?
like government.
What does research
What
mean?
do you mean?
What does it mean? You said you've done research on the internet. What does that mean?
Like looking at verifiable government scientific experiments and trials and things that have been
Oh,
done.
are you talking about the CIA papers?
No.
Oh,
Don't add to the fire.
sorry. I wanted to know because I that happens to be my bread and butter. So can you
Gotcha.
name me like a scientific paper, like from a reputable journal that is saying we are doing research into energy and whether or not energy is consciousness, like a DOI number or the relevant PhD who is attached to it.
Thank you guys for tapping the screen up to 25,000 likes. Really appreciate all of that. Of course, the more we tap, the more we share, the more likely we'll be coming across the FYP of somebody with a belief in a god or gods or a higher power or anything like that who's actually capable of questioning their beliefs. Because it's quite clear this guest cannot. I don't know if it's an incapability or just an unwillingness, but it doesn't seem that we're actually getting any questioning of belief happening. Big Mama, did you find that DOI number?
So when you say DUI number, I don't.
DOI.
Oh, DO.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have a DOI number, but I have like actual scientists, like their names and what they've discovered.
What's the field that they are in?
So, sorry.
Hmm. We're having a lot of trouble staying connected on the YouTube, so we may have to restart over there, but
Oh
we'll
no.
still be here on TikTok. Yeah, it's been the last 3 nights. It's been very.
Because of the storms and whatnot.
No storm yet.
Oh, you haven't had. Oh, we had it rained all day yesterday.
No.
Could you guys hear me at all or no?
No, we can't hear you when you leave the app like that.
Gotcha. Sorry. So,
So what was the name of one of those scientists? And what did they discover?
Have their degree in.
scientific and philosophical. So it's a mixture of both.
I'm sorry. I thought
So there is.
we were talking about research into
Were you saying?
consciousness equaling awareness.
Yes.
Why would philosophy play any role in that?
Well, scientists like Dr. Zhigang Shah and then Stuart Hameroff are.
What are their scientific, what's their field of expertise in?
So quantum physics and consciousness.
Is that the name of the article you're reading?
No, that's what they specialize in.
Specialize in quantum field.
Yes. And they are starting to come across verified experiential research that is proving that Earth is an actual field of awareness.
I'm sorry.
Of consciousness.
Verified experiential research. What does that mean?
Like based off of experience that they've gathered from doing trials with human bodies and the brain.
I'm still kind of stuck on quantum field is the expertise. This may be due to my own ignorance for all I know, but as far as I'm aware, when it comes to the quantum, like quantum physics, you don't specialize in just quantum field. Like, it's usually quantum physics, because quantum physics is, I don't know. I could be ignorant about it.
That is, and I don't know as well, Hammy. I don't know if, I mean, I know there's quantum field theory, so maybe somebody has a specialization in that.
Awesome.
The same way someone might be a string theory specialist or I don't know though. There would still be a
Where did
quantum
you
physicist or a particle physicist or a theoretical physicist. Interesting.
where are you reading this out of? Like, what journal?
What do you mean by a journal?
Like, you came across this article, and so whenever you click on it, what gets brought up?
You know, I just want to bring up something. There's a lot of distorted egos in the chat who are calling me names, and they were.
Sorry, we're up here though.
Hey, though.
No, it's not okay. But they're People are going to people, right? Their awareness is their awareness. And some of them have different awarenesses, and all of them are aware, at least, that you seem to think that you have greater knowledge than entire fields of science.
I have the same knowledge that everyone else has access to. It's about whether they're accepting of that knowledge. That's the whole thing.
It's condescending again. You don't even hear
I
how
mean,
condescending you are. You don't. Do you care how condescending you sound? Does it matter to you that you just sound like you're an arrogant person who claims to know everything while expressing that they don't actually understand what they're talking about? That's how you come across to several people's awarenesses.
the key word, right? Distorted ego. That's not a me
Fascinating.
problem. That's
Fascinating.
not a me problem. That's how I'm coming off to you because of the specific lens you're
I
seeing.
didn't say you're coming across that way to me. I'm saying that is how you're coming across to many people. It is the way you're expressing yourself, as though you know that science will eventually catch up to your great and vast knowledge. That is how you've been expressing yourself. It sounds prideful, arrogant, and like you're doubling down on your assumptions. Certainly seems.
Why wouldn't I if that's the lived reality that I live inside of?
Do you think that your experiences can always be trusted? Everything you experience is always as you experience.
Yes, actually, because I'm experiencing from within my own awareness.
Your
So-
awareness can't be tricked in any way, shape, or form whatsoever.
No. Not after the inner work that I've done. Absolutely not. Yeah,
Do you remember that? What colors did you see?
it changed depending on my perception.
Oh, so do you know what the actual dress color was?
Own awareness.
Oh no, there was an actual definitive on what the color of the dress was, and it was blue and black. It's just the fact that overexposure can make it seem like it's white and gold, and a lot of people, whenever they said they saw white and gold, other people would see that. We have these things that, we have entire categories of where we can be misled to believe something based on both visual and audio tricks. So how can you say that your awareness can't be fooled?
Because when you do the inner work, you stop allowing that type of stuff to happen. You step away from all that. You step away from things that no longer are
By inner
aligned.
work, do you mean going inside your mind and kind of exploring your thoughts in a way that leads you to conclusions?
No,
What
I'm
you mean
talking
by
about
inner
being
work?
the observer. I see my thoughts as just thoughts, and half the time it's old traumatic patterns that have been passed on to me from the people that I've been around, family, friends, all of that. My thoughts, I observe them. I don't let them choose for me. I choose what I want to interact with.
And yet you saw a
Internally and
black and blue,
externally.
and yet you saw a black and blue dress as changing depending on your own perspective. So, I'm still not understanding how you determine that your senses and your input and your reality cannot be tricked.
Well, she's just decided it. She's confident in her own
my own reality.
Self-assured ignorance.
So she guessed.
That's ego distortion talking. I just want to let you know that.
You might think so, but
Oh.
you say that, but I think really what's happening here is you put your ego on such a pedestal and then decide that it is the objective observer of everything and it knows all and it can't be wrong and you
Who
can't
is observing
make a
then?
mistake. You
Who do you
are
think is
interrupting me
observing
right
in
now.
your
I haven't
reality?
done that.
What do you
So
think is
I
doing the
think what's going to
observing?
happen now, Big Mama, is because you seem to not be able to control yourself. We're going to move on. We've already done a poll, and the audience has decided. But I would really encourage you to consider for even a moment that you can be wrong about anything. I would wonder why you would bother requesting up on a panel that says, can you question your beliefs if you can't even question? It seems as though you live in assumptions that nothing you assume can be wrong. And that's fucking terrifying.
And I would recommend that you honestly look at like how you've responded here in the future, because the way it came off is that I'm stupid to be able to understand what I already know.
Oh, don't worry, Hammy. Science will catch up to her one day.
No,
And
of
if you
course.
have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that, you're actually capable of questioning your beliefs. Then go ahead and request on up. But I'm not here to just listen to somebody have an emotional breakdown and project their ego distortion all over the room.
How's it going, Thrayle?
I might be grumpy.
Oh, don't worry. This has made me kind of grumpy as well.
I've only been awake for a couple of hours. I slept in because I didn't mean to sleep.
That usually tends to be the case with you.
Yeah, but I did. I slept some. And now here we are, questioning beliefs. And so far we have had one really great guest who is honestly capable of questioning their belief in a God of everlasting mystery. And then, well, and then you saw what happened with a different guest.
So I literally came in whenever
Guest
the
number
first
2.
guest. Wow.
Yeah.
Because I came into the comments during guest 1, I guess.
Yeah. No, it was a great conversation. So yeah, we're early. We're early. We're just getting started, but we're late. If anybody's got a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning it, then go ahead and request on it. Let's see. I've got a couple of them in the queue for a minute. The body is the ego. You can't get rid of it.
Just a little bit ago, she said, that's your own projection speaking. But I wish you the best.
She heard me say the word projection.
Oh, so she's just parroting what you've already said. Got it.
Hello, Kiki. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you, Kiki. If you meant to be here, go ahead and unmute. I'll take your age. Otherwise, I'll set you back down. I think you might not have meant to join. And Kiki going once, 35. So did you mean to be here? You can unmute. There it is. You just click that little OK and you can unmute and you're on panel. It was an accident. Okay, never mind then. I'll set you down. Appreciate you, Kiki.
someone has the name Born Again Christ, of course it's separated by commas, but it makes me think: if you are Christ, can you be born again?
Kenny, I mean, technically, they might say that his resurrection was his rebirth, or maybe he's going to be reborn. I don't know. The strange part is when, Christ or whatever, and they make that their screen name, as though they are putting themselves up on that pedestal or cross, whatever the case may be. It's strange when people name themselves after gods that tell them not to have idols. I know the Quran tells you not to exalt yourself or others to the status of God. I don't know if the Bible specifically does. I think it does, though. I could be wrong.
I'm not sure. I haven't read the Quran in its entirety.
Well, I know it's in the Quran because it's one of their kind of specialized forms of blasphemy, is to put yourself or someone else at the same level as God.
Yeah, and that's the reason why they say that Jesus was, a prophet, but he definitely wasn't the Son of God.
It's one thing you will hear many Muslims speak against, but very few actually do, is putting Muhammad on as high a level as God. I hear them complain about it all the time, but I don't actually come across it. Put him on as high a pedestal as you can, a human in their eyes, but they'll still put God above it.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like Muhammad is like that rock star. And I mean, the way they speak about him, you'd expect him to be as a god. Muhammad, he split the moon in half.
Sorry, I was just checking on the YouTube. Seems complaining about it did the trick.
Oh, well, that's
For the
good.
time being, anyways.
When it starts happening again, we'll complain more.
Yeah. That's what we'll do.
But if you have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that, and you don't mind coming up here and talking about that, we'll ask some questions.
I don't know. We've had one really good guest and one sort of not the greatest. I'm sure that, who knows, Big Mama may come away from this and question some of those assumptions, especially that big one that,
Oh,
she
yeah.
can't be wrong.
And I definitely won't say that she was the worst guest that's ever been on this panel. I've seen way, way, way worse than her.
quite read the name. I think it says Zebuloni over on YouTube. It says that Muhammad split the moon in half, but I put it back together. Zebuloni did, not me.
Oh. Well, what about the second time he split it in half? Did you put it back together then too, Zeppeloni?
I'm probably saying it wrong. Zebulon.
Zebulon.
That makes more sense. Zebulon. Last
Because
I might
that's
be a one.
that was the funniest thing. Is like he split it in half, but then but nobody saw it, so he split it in half again.
Interesting. Does that mean he split it into quarters? Or was it the same cut twice? Zebulon says, but yeah, it's all back together now. Says, yeah, still.
Oh. Okay.
It's still together.
So I can see it now. Zebulon over here sees the moon got split in half, puts it back together. Then he turns his back and looks back and sees it's in half again. He's like, "Oh, come on!"
Zamboni resurfaced the ice. Good one, old boy.
Xanarans has some okay jambalaya.
Are you advertising? Did you get paid for that?
I can neither confirm or deny that Hammy is or is not being paid by Xanarans. I definitely cannot confirm or deny that that was the only other Z name that popped in my head.
I think you need more Z names.
Z names for products.
Well, that was unnecessary. Nobody needs to go shouting in the chat like that. But
Oh, I
hey,
didn't
if you,
see it.
yeah, I caught it quick. But if you've got a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that, and you don't mind catching a question or two, well, then go ahead and request on up, especially if you actually can question your beliefs. And if you can, well, then I might just want to know what it is you believe in. Not just, the name of it, but really what it is. What is the framework, the structure, the system, the God, and the why. I really would like to know why you believe in whatever it is you believe in at all. Of course, again, that is if you can question it. And if you can't question it, I really only have one question for you.
Why?
Why? Exactly. Why not? Why can't you question what you believe?
Ever since I became an adult, I never understood people who can't question their beliefs. Like whenever I was younger and I was a firm believer, like yeah, like I understand like questioning the beliefs could lead to doubt, which could lead to leaving and yada yada yada. And in your mindset at that point in time, that's a big no-no. But then because you're a child and this is what you were told is the truth, and you got to believe that because people who you trust to know things tell you, and you trust that. Some kids. I definitely was one of them. But then as an adult, and I started actually questioning a lot of my beliefs, I never understood why people didn't want to do that.
Wonder if it's fear. Are they afraid that questioning their beliefs will result in some kind of punishment or torment? Or is it fear that questioning will shake the foundations of that structure until there's nothing left? And
I
if
think
that's, I mean, if that's the case, then why be afraid of something that sounds like it would be inevitable? Eventually, if it is so fragile, it would shake loose.
I think that for some, like especially like for those who get high up and like become members of clergy and whatnot, I think that if they can't question their belief, I think it's the fear of the fact that they've spent their entire life dedicated to this, and they would feel like their entire life has been wasted. And because I mean, I know that there's a lot of people within the clergy project itself that they still are members of clergy, even though they don't believe anymore, because of the fact that they've been in this 30, 40, 50 years and it's all they know. I was asked a question in the chat by Sebastian.
Oh,
Yeah, he asked me what was the first thing that I questioned. And I think that the first thing that I probably questioned as a child, I questioned something, but then I just like used cognitive dissonance to keep holding on to things so that way I didn't think about it. But the true first thing I questioned was if I still believed in any kind of God or higher power that was out there. And I didn't question that until I was 25.
what was your question at 25?
Whoa, was if I still believed it. If I truly, deep down, believed that there was a higher power still out there somewhere. And I did had a long time to think about that question. And I searched within myself and looked deep within myself to see if there was any inkling that I truly believed this.
Hey, Bat. Hey, guys.
Hello, Democratic Socialist. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Thrayle, you know you're my favorite. Oh, I changed my picture. You probably know. I'm 36. I would say, but I don't think there is.
Why
You know what I mean?
It'd be nice if there is, but I don't think there is. Does that make sense?
Why do you say that you hope there's something?
Well, of course, I think, when we, take the big sleep, right? We're all kind of nervous about it or scared. And, I would hope there'd be something that's reaching out to me and saying, hey, everything's going to be okay. But at the end of it, I don't think there is. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, and even if there's not, you're not going to know anyway. Right? So.
You say would be nice. What does it
I don't
mean?
know. Some kind of place where, I don't know. I love the kind of near-death experiences people have where they see this like light that they go towards. And that'd be kind of nice. Maybe. I don't know about it.
Sounds kind of blinding.
Well, but I think we take the big sleep and that's it. And it's, the most unfortunate thing about humans is we're self-aware. It's our biggest curse, isn't it?
Why do you say it's our biggest curse?
Thing about humans, because we know about death. And so we try to, grandma's in a better place. And we come up with different religious practices to say grandma's in a bit better place and things like that. I kind of hold on to, I'd like it to be, but it's probably not. I think it's a blessing that you're even here.
I don't really have that sense of fear of death that a lot of people have. Like, I prefer not to die, but, like, it's not something that I'm terrified of either.
That's interesting. I mean, I get what you're saying, Hemi. But at the same time, I think everyone kind of for me personally, I'm afraid of death. I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. The unknown is something to be afraid of, to me personally. And that's why I think a lot of people come up with religions and, things like that. Or, there's a serpent and there's a serpent that greets you when you go, or things like that.
Why did you request up to
When you go.
tonight?
Oh, because I remember you, Thrayle.
Because you remember me. Are you drunk?
I'm always drunk.
Fortunate.
Why?
Because I find these conversations go much better on a clear mind. And if you remember me, then you remember that I don't really abide drunkenness on the panel. So,
Thrill has never heard me drunk because I've never been drunk on the panel.
if you're drunk in a Discord, that's something else. But if you're drunk on a panel, that's like...
Oh, I've never been drunk in the
Discord
either.
that's a choice. That's a choice.
Right.
And that's going to be yeah.
I think that if I were drunk, Thrayle would definitely know. I get the stereotypical, like, slurred words whenever I'm drunk. And it gets really bad there where it's like my words are jumbled in together and you definitely don't know what the hell I'm saying at all.
Yeah. That's how a lot of drunk conversations go, and some people are actually pretty good at hiding it until it just kind of falls apart. And I don't think the previous guest was hiding it very well. I had a growing suspicion there.
I kind of had this suspicion whenever he came on and was like, "Hey, Bats."
I mean, yeah, some people fall asleep watching the live, but they don't usually request up until they're asleep. 2 days of hammy. Good morning, Huggy. We had a late start, so I've only been live for 2 hours. So a very late start. I'm still debating in my mind whether I will stay live all day or end early, and I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. I mean, at least, yeah, we'll go at least a few hours. Yeah, usually we do, 10 to 12 hours.
You do a lot of hours.
Yeah, at least 8 to 10. I might have been dialing back a little lately, but
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I always come here, because I always know that on my shifts at work, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be you who's live. Other people, they may or may not be.
yeah, 9 times out of 10 sounds about right. I almost took the night off when I woke up, but after 2 a.m., realized what time it was, how long it would take me to get ready. But I couldn't leave everybody hanging. And after all, there are assumptions out there that need questioning, beliefs that need examining. And who knows, maybe it's your belief that we'll be questioning next. If, of course, you can question your beliefs and you have a belief in a God or God's higher power, or really anything like that, even if it's something kind of off the wall. I'd be curious. Look at how open I'm being. Usually I'm just focused on the God thing. That's where we'll start. But what do you believe? Why do you believe it? User, you believe in talking to your deceased relatives and pets. But do you believe they talk back or hear or even exist in a way other than your memories? The things they left behind. I don't know, but in my mind they do. Interesting and well worded answer. Recognizing it is at least in your mind could be just there, but not closing it to that, but also including an I don't know, leaving it open really that it could be anything. Understandable. understandable. We just started, Clover. We've only been live for 2 hours tonight. I slept in. But good morning to you. And those are still pretty low for 2 hours. You're right. Maybe we should get to work. If we help. You can add the live to your story, like the Batcolyte just did. Or you can repost it, like I just did. You can also just send it to somebody who you think might enjoy it, or maybe even be able to question their beliefs. And who knows, they might scroll in and just listen, but they might even have the courage or the curiosity to request up and question their own assumptions. And I didn't forget about you over there, Zebulon said over on YouTube. I tried to get drunk tonight, but I got heartburn instead. That's a good reason not to get drunk.
I've gone almost a year without a cigarette.
Congratulations, Hammy.
Thank you. Although there have been days where I came close to breaking down because of some of the people I've dealt with, and I'm like,
I have no idea what you mean.
absolutely not.
People can be that frustrating.
Frustrating enough to want a cigarette? No, never. I will say I still do vape because I know I'm addicted to nicotine, but I haven't had a cigarette, so
Well, that can still be a step.
yeah.
And if you can take a step towards questioning your beliefs in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that, well, one step you could take is by hitting the request button on screen. Let's make it look a little more welcoming, maybe. Maybe it's just looking like we're wanting to sit up here by ourselves. We don't. Not at all. So much so, if we go too long without a guest, I'll have to drop Hammy too.
That's understandable.
I think sometimes it appears intimidating, like we're just atheists waiting to pounce, but we're not. I mean, I'm not. I can't say Hammy's not waiting to pounce, but I'll rein him in. We're just here to see if you have have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that, and can question it. That's the big one, really. That's why it's a little bigger than the other questions. Can you question your beliefs?
I'm always ready to pounce, but I tend to hold back on my own volition because, well, that's not what we do here. I've been wanting to talk to somebody who believes in like the simulation thing and ask them what is the glitch within this simulation, because every simulation has some way of finding a glitch. There's always some sign that it's a simulation rather than reality.
You say there's always a sign.
Yeah, there's always some telltale that shows that we're in a simulation, or that something is a simulation.
How did you reach that conclusion that there's always?
Well, with every simulation that we have, like for instance, if a lot of people like liken this to like Sims, right? And in Sims, like you could tell if you were in Sims because there's always things like you get into a pool and the ladder's gone now, and now you can't get out, and other things like that.
In games
and-
that we've designed,
Yeah,
humans.
yeah.
With
Well, that's what all
so-
simulations are.
right. So, who's to say that whatever is simulated
It's like that.
with
Well,
who's to say is designed by anything like us?
Well, the simple fact that it's computing on something. There's always a way to overload that something. It doesn't matter. Like there's nothing that can be designed to not to withstand everything and never overload and crash.
How did you? Is this like a law? Is this where is this?
It's a limitation in the fact that whenever you're designing something, like it has like whenever you're programming something, there's limitations whether it be in the program itself or in the hardware being used, and there's always ways to overload that. And
In human designs.
I mean, that's the only designs we can kind of go off of at the moment, but it's
Are you
still,
relying on the logic of Rick Sanchez?
I'm relying on the logic. I'm just relying on logic itself. Like there's
To say
if you're
that any simulation or computational thing can
like there's
can be overloaded to the point of crashing or will at some point be.
it's the fact that it can be.
Who's to say
Because-
that we're anywhere near the capacity?
But not necessarily saying that we are, but I'm saying that there is always a way to push it to that point.
So if that's the case, then you're saying there would be some push by now? Or is it possible that we're nowhere near being able to push to that point to see some kind of glitch in our matrixed reality? That's weird to question from this direction.
Right. I think that sometimes it's not how to word this. the right way. Sometimes it's not necessarily that there's a set like limit to go to. For instance, like sometimes it's a very simple thing. Like we've seen this a lot in um, I mean, I know that again, this is going to be based on our understanding as far as like human games that have like big, wide open worlds. Like there's like even sometimes the smallest little things can cause it to overload a system without necessarily reaching this quote unquote limit.
Right.
Games that have like big, even sometimes the smallest little necessarily reaching this.
You're saying there's always glitches in our programs.
Yeah.
What makes you think that this program should fit what we observe in our programs?
Are you referring to the first program you mentioned? Are you referring to the program that is, quote unquote, the simulation that is our life type of deal?
If it be simulation, what's to say that this thing is susceptible to the same flaws as our designs?
Because that's ah. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's walking over. Wait, no, that guy's not ready yet. Because it's just like I feel like this is kind of like the whole entire can God create a stone so heavy even he can't lift it? Except for could the programmer program a thing so great that even he can't cause the glitch type of deal, right?
Your answer was unclear. I might have missed part of it.
Sorry.
Can you restate it?
Yeah. Yeah. So like the fact that this is something that we see within every simulation, whether it be the ones that we've created, or even in some cases like we see in movies or like Star Trek and things like that. Like
Those
there's
are
always
simulations
Right.
we've created within simulations we've created.
Right, right. But like regardless, there's always something. And to then ask, how do we know that the
Oh no, Hammy,
simulation?
it's starting to sound like some as above, so below.
No,
As below,
no,
so
it's
above.
it's more or less that it's just the fact that this is something that has to do with designing things of like whenever it comes to like programming. There is it's basically the way the question that you posed to me seems. It's like, could a programmer program something that even he can't like break, like type of deal? You know what I mean? It's just
Program. So I didn't say that it's not susceptible at all, but why would it be susceptible to the same kinds of flaws that we're used to?
because these are flaws within. Somebody's about to walk in. Hold on, I have to mute myself for the bell.
Mm-hmm. And we're at 28,000 likes, guys. Appreciate all the taps. Of course, the more we tap, the more likely we'll have somebody have us come across their FYP who might even have a belief in a god or gods and the curiosity or courage to question it. Who knows, though? We might just sit here continuing to question Hammy on why he is adamant that this can't be a simulation. Weird thing to question. Thank you, Bridget. Appreciate the bonfire night.
Oh,
feels like there might be some bonfire nights coming up as the
temperature goes
weather
down.
gets colder. Yeah.
Sorry, as soon as I said somebody's about to come in, I got to mute for the bell. Instead of coming into the store, they just came straight up to the counter, and I was like, "Oh, awesome."
So because there's
Right.
you're right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
kind of remember what the question was.
it was
Yeah.
because there's flaws within our simulations, and every simulation that we have created can be supposedly broken or glitched. Um, uh, then, therefore, if this were a simulation, we should see flaws and glitches presenting.
Yeah. Yeah, we would expect to see some.
Why? Why would we expect to see a glitch? If, for instance, presume it's been beta tested, and so it's at least to the if designers specifications, or at least their approval.
We still
then-
see them even in finished
I know.
products.
Right. Do you think on every playthrough that you will encounter some kind of notable glitch?
Hold on, somebody else is coming in.
Uh-huh.
This is the problem with it doing this early in the morning.
Yeah, because usually it's later at night.
Yeah, usually it's later at night whenever I come on and I have
Giving me shit for
rooms
being
without
late.
people. No, not you. It's
Sounds
just
like
me
you're
because
giving me shit for being
I
late.
honestly thought you were on earlier in the night. I was just watching other things.
But if you're not too busy to question your reality or your belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that, then go ahead and quest on up. It does sound a bit glitchy.
Alright, sorry about that. Hopefully we'll be good for just at least a little bit.
Do you remember the question?
No, repeat it to me. Why would we expect to see it?
Why would you expect to see a glitch on this playthrough? Like, does every playthrough of a released game have a glitch?
Just every playthrough. Not every playthrough, but we would expect to at least see one somewhere where, like, in to put it in this instead of the video game scenario in real world, we would expect it, like we would see it in history where something
Where there was some unexplained event that people at the time couldn't explain in any way.
It would not just be that the people at the time couldn't explain it. It'd be that no one ever could explain it. And
so some unexplained event that no one can explain.
Yes. Not, and like I said, not just.
Why would all of those? Why would even one of those unexplained events occur here on
Well,
Earth in all the vastness of what exists in this simulation?
because these glitches are always around whenever glitches happen because people or because something is influencing it in a way that people like when we see it in games and things like that, it's whenever people are walking randomly and then all of a sudden something happens and they're like, wow. And
Do you know?
then
Do you know what usually causes those glitches in games?
usually just bugs in the program.
What do you mean by bugs in the program?
Bugs in the program meaning that, for instance, let's take Skyrim, right? Whenever you fast travel in Skyrim, it goes to the loading screen because it's taking time to load the cells that are that the player is going to be in, and each cell has an X amount of things that also get spawned in there as well. And sometime thing like you go into a specific city, and then out of nowhere, just like you get loaded in, and then on top of you drops down a dragon. And it's because sometimes, like with that one, it's like a random event that happens that you didn't kill a dragon. You know you didn't kill a dragon in this city, and this skeleton just appears out of nowhere. And so it's a random bug that ends up happening within the system that when usually that's not supposed to happen in the code. There's a little place in there where like bad coding happened and it happens anyways.
Bad coding mistakes.
Yeah.
So if there's errors in the code, or if there's conflicts in the script, then those are triggered by aberrant behavior. Is that what it is? They're triggered by things being by playing the game out of.
Bad error. The thing is that this isn't just a
Thing is, Hemi,
Mhm.
you're saying and saying that because it's human programmed, it has these flaws, which assumes that if this reality were human programmed, it would have these flaws. But it almost sounds like you're making an argument for a God that perfectly designed everything because look.
No, because if somebody were to bring up that,
Well,
I would say
godlike
that
programming, making an argument for a God.
because if somebody programmer, I would say that there's still problems within this coding. If this were like if we were to take the
You just said that
there's problems as
there's
far
problems.
as while there's still problems within this coding. If this were there's problems as problems isn't the glitches or bugs. There's useless code that is in the coding of say again if we're taking this as this is code, then there's useless code in just the human itself. And there's useless code in a lot of different functions that if you were to look at it, this, if it is code, is not intelligently coded. However, we still have, again, there's still the problem with the fact that there's not the bugs. So there's no bugs, but there are still problems within the code. Not all problems within code is bugs or glitches.
What do you mean? So give me an example of a problem in the code.
So let's see here. Let's say you're programming an app that fuck, somebody's coming in.
Well, damn. If only somebody else would, come up here on the panel with a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that. Well, then I wouldn't have to question all the flaws in Hammy's apparent argument against simulation that seems to promote a powerfully perfect programmer of a problematic but
Don't you dare mischaracterize that, Thrayle.
it certainly sounds like that's what you're setting up.
Okay. Now somebody else coming.
A programmer who programs a problematic program but not a flawed one. It's got problems, but what simulation doesn't? Good morning, Tutski.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I just have one thing that glitches don't necessarily happen because a program's not perfect. Sometimes glitches happen because the processor isn't perfect, right?
Mhm.
So you can assume the processor isn't degrading or the processor isn't perfect, or is perfect. I mean, meaning if this was reality, or virtual reality or a simulation, I do agree with Hammy and say we would probably have to find, or we probably have to see some sort of error, maybe not necessarily a glitch, but something that doesn't comport to reality.
We would have to find something in reality that doesn't comport to reality.
Well, in a virtual system that doesn't comport to reality, yeah. I don't know what that would look like.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying this would be the criteria to verify to you that it is a simulation, is some thing that isn't within reality.
I would expect, for me, if it was a simulation, I would expect eventually to see things start breaking down. It's like a 2.1 and 2.2. Let me update beta chapter 2. All right.
Succeeded Hemi in coming up.
I've done no such thing. Don't you say my name like that again.
So, yeah, it's sounding like, I mean, if we're expecting to see some kind of glitch that would verify that it was a simulation, why would you expect that you, or any human even, would perceive the glitch?
I feel like the glitch would be noticeable.
If you like blip through a wall, I'm pretty sure somebody would notice.
But that's a specific example of a glitch. Like, are there not glitches that occur within games that there's no reason the NPCs would have noticed?
Save files could be corrupted, for sure.
Are we living in a corrupted save file of The Sims?
I hope
Is
we're
that what
not in the
this
sim
is?
world. I mean, I do think that the general population is stupid enough to be a sim, but I hope we're not in a sim world. Oh gosh, I hope not.
It's a late start, so we have to do toroid time early. Well, early for me. But before we do, I gotta make sure I thank Mo Sunshine and Keep Bubs, Bridget, and Morgan LeFay for helping with the previous goal. Thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate that. I don't even know if Tutski noticed the background yet.
Oh yeah, I saw the what is reality. I thought that's interesting. My answer to that though, I don't know. I'm still second guessing it. I was gonna say anything that is non-mind dependent. Wait, is that right? Yeah. So anything objective would be reality to me. But that might be a different answer to somebody observing somewhere else.
Do you think you have access to reality?
Yeah, I believe I have access to reality.
Do you believe you have full access to reality?
No.
Do you think it is possible to have full access to reality?
I think we can approach full access to reality, but I don't think we can ever really reach it because
Asymptotic.
yeah, we can never know the full depths of reality. I don't
If
think.
you had full access to reality, would that mean that you know everything?
I would think so, yeah. Well, not everything. Like you don't have to necessarily know what's going to happen in 1,000 years, but you would have access to everything objective within the universe at that moment.
Right.
Within the universe.
Divided by 0.
Null.
My calculator always just says error.
What is null?
It's,
Like
applicable?
it doesn't kind of, yeah, like it doesn't compute, it doesn't populate. will not populate.
So not nothing. So not nothing.
What's the absence of something?
Nothing is the absence of something, or null is
No,
the absence
null.
of.
Null is the absence of something.
What is nothing?
Nothing is nothing.
I mean, you could also define it as the absence of something.
Is nothing the absence of something, or the absence of anything?
Is there a
Or
difference between
everything?
anything and something?
Wouldn't it be the
That's a good
absence of
point.
everything?
Right. Tyler Hoskins says to define nothing would be to make it something. Assuming would be the thing that absence is defined, and so it's no longer nothing.
The Schrodinger's cat. The second you observe it, the entire thing collapses.
You redefine null to be the zero because zero is still a value placeholder, but it's the absence of a value.
What is value? That's a good question. I'm going to add to my list.
That's a great question.
It's
In
an
this
okay question.
case,
I added it right next to what is astrology. I said that out loud for you, Tutski.
Astrology, when Mercury's in Gatorade, when only but
I said that out loud for you, Tutski.
astrology, when 12th Gryffindor house.
No,
Hufflepuff is the 6th house.
Higher power or anything. But if you have a belief in your beliefs, that is what the fuck we're generally talking about. So if you debate or argue or tear you down, we just want to know, what is it that you believe and why do you believe it?
theism belief last night, and I ended up screwing myself.
If you cannot question your beliefs, then why?
Don't request
Why?
it.
Just why?
Because what is the purpose of any other question beyond why? If you can't question it. To display it, to set it on the table and say, look, there it is. But you can't question it. You can't scrutinize, examine, wonder about any part of it unless you're willing to take my word for it. It's kind of arrogant and obnoxious.
How do you know if that belief can't do tricks if you don't question it?
Unless you're willing to take my obnoxious.
How do you know if that belief
So if that's you, if you've got that kind of belief that you can question, those boxes on the screen. It's a whole lot of opportunities for you to request on up and see if you can question it.
And if I terrify you, then we can just kick me out.
You are terrifying, Hammy.
I know, I made 2 people question yesterday, and the second person who questioned just kind of short-circuited it and went back to what they were saying. That was disappointing.
Yeah, that did happen. But hey, you never know. Scott Blasco might be able to question their beliefs. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Yeah, I'm 24.
And do you have a belief in a god or god, higher power, or anything like that?
Yeah,
From beginning to end.
yeah.
Do you believe the stories within it to be true and literal?
Yeah.
Do you believe this story? So, 6-day creation, Adam and Eve, those stories are true.
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
I don't know, I just do. I've looked into science a lot, how our world functions.
Those are true.
It hasn't been able, so, you know, I've been able to believe it being true.
How did you figure out that the Bible has the highest possibility of being true?
Personally, I just kind of cross-examined references and, you know, text from that time, and kind of like how an attorney and, you know, a detective looks at like a murder scene. They look for clues.
I see. So what clues did you find that verify that the Bible is true?
Well, there's a lot of clues of, you know, an evidence that we can't create life from, you know, from non-life. We've not been able to create our own life and be able to mutate it to the point of, you know, having all these different species, like even being able to identify specific genetic code and
I'm sorry,
DNA
can you
strands. That's
back up?
pretty new.
Can you remember the question that I just asked you?
Yeah, I'm answering the question. You
What
know,
was the
there's...
question that I asked you?
You're asking why I believe and what evidence is pointing to the Bible being true,
Right.
and I'm pointing towards human evolution and the complexity of it.
I'm sorry, Scott. I didn't ask you about human evolution, or the complexity.
Oh,
of
it's
it.
science. So science is
So,
actually what I'm talking about. I'm not talking
Scott,
about God. I'm not
right?
talking about
Because
faith.
I was asking you questions about the Bible, and you're answering questions about science. Tells me you're not listening to the conversation. You're not here to actually have a conversation. So if you can back up and actually address the question I asked.
Oh, I addressed the question, but it
What was
sounds
the
like you don't want
question?
to have a conversation.
Scott,
I'm not going to repeat myself if you don't
Scott,
have, you
Scott,
know, the
you're
brain
interrupting me very
comprehension and
rudely now.
capacity
You
to
don't seem to
understand
have the
something and
ability to
understand my
have a
words.
conversation, and you're talking over me now to be, I don't know, some kind of
So if
troll.
you need, you know,
Are you
medical,
trying to do a troll thing right now? Because it's not
you
going to
might
work,
actually.
Scott. This isn't actually the
So I'm
place
sorry.
for it. You don't seem to be capable of having
No,
a conversation
you know,
because you're
actually,
interrupting me. You're
it's
talking over me. I'm still talking, and the fact you're using
retarded. You're
slurs on
actually
TikTok
retarded.
Live.
There's something wrong
You've
with your
used
brain,
slurs on
and you don't
TikTok Live,
understand the
Scott.
words that are coming out
You're
of my
going to be
mouth.
banned
So if you
now.
don't understand,
So goodbye. That was really pathetic. That was really sadly pathetic, Scott.
It was disappointing. Like,
Mm.
exceedingly disappointing.
Yeah, he definitely came up here to debate.
He was just ready to go. It's like,
Kinda
I'm
had
gonna
a whole
blurt this.
monologue.
Get it out there before he can shut me down.
Mm-hmm.
are there in every writing, even though it may be hidden, it may be ignored, it may be whatever. I think there's a commonality there, and I think that in talking to people who have these different faiths, I can talk on a in a way that I can kind of speak their language and learn something from them. But I don't know. I think
Found some good reasons. No beginning.
no, absolutely not. Connect with others. That's how I was before. Learn, connect with others. I can't see anything beyond that, really. Thought of anything of this, anything beyond that.
Does a God have to exist for it to be meaningful?
No, hell no. No, absolutely not. In fact, if a God doesn't exist, then that puts it on us to create meaning, to kind of actually be the impetus for our goals, our achievements, our desires. I don't think that God is the is the goal.